Welcome back to Real Gun Adventures, and do a quick update on the PARD FD1 front clip-on unit, which I currently have configured as a standalone scope or a spotter. Now, I've done some video of this in daylight and some night vision video for you. It's quite impressive actually, and considering the size and weight of this is a very useful piece of kit. Now the menu functions are very straightforward, and I've done some video looking through this, and I'll put that up shortly for you to have a look at, talk you through the functions. Very straightforward, but to be fair, the actual buttons on the side here are so easy to find and to operate, you don't need to mess around in the menu too much. Now, it does have its own reticle, which you can switch on and off. You can change the style and the colour, so if you're using this as a rifle scope, that's a very useful function. In fact, it's really important. I mentioned before that the infrared is focusable, so you can zoom that in and out if you need to. I used it around about 50 to 60 yards. Does have a laser rangefinder. What it doesn't have, and which is something that I did mention before, is a ballistic calculator, and that's because it's designed to go on the front of a scope, which changes things slightly. But it is full night vision. It is very useful, very universal, and the laser rangefinder on this unit has been excellent. So let's cut to some pictures. We'll go daytime, nighttime, then we'll do some menu stuff, then I'll just come back at the end and I'll round up. I'll also show you how to fit this onto a scope. Not that it's difficult and you won't really need me to show you, but I'll do it anyway. I'll be right back. This is daylight mode, and that tree is about 50 to 60 yards from where I'm standing. It's also quite late in the evening and the light is starting to fade. In fact, it's starting to get dark as I'm standing here. This is pitch black, and the boxes you can see are beehives. They're about 50 to 60 feet away from me. And you can see the infrared light there. And I've turned the light up and down just so you can get a gauge of how bright it is. These are the menu functions. It's difficult to film this, as you can see. So literally, you just scroll down. There's an up and a down key. Very easy to access on the side of the scope. Select the function that you want to change or alter. Once you're in there, again, you scroll down to the setting that you want. When you're there, you select with the OK button, which is the one in the middle. And then literally back to the menu, and you can go on to other settings, or if you're happy, just touch that menu button again and it switches off. Okay, so that's the video through the scope, taken on the scope and the menus. Now I've got this on, this is my T-Rex, and I have a Vector Optics Veyron. This is a quite short scope and it's a first focal plane. Now with the kit you get some shims, which are really useful. Saves all this black tape malarkey that we used to do years ago. I've got 3 shims in there, which should make this quite a nice snug fit. So it pops over the top, make sure it's sitting nicely, and then just close the lever. With the lever closed, it's nice and tight, very secure. Now I've swapped over the eyepiece for the scope adapter, and this literally just pops in here. Now this is something that is much easier to do when you're not filming. So that goes on there, pop that out, and then let it just twist back in, and it is locked now. So now my front end clip-on is clipped on. It's that quick and that easy. To take it off, you can do 2 things. I've mentioned this before too. You can lift the big lever up, take off the whole thing, which is what I prefer to do. Or if you're going to put it back on later and you don't want to mess around, there's a little button which you can see there, it's marked in white. You lift that button up and you turn it to the open position on the picture on the scope, and there you go, we're off. Now you can leave this on. Scope works perfectly with it on. There's no need to take it off if you don't want to. And also it means it's a quick pop back on again. You're not going to have to mess around. And actually when that is on there, that is really on there. It's nice and tight. So that's how you put it on the front of a scope. If you want to use it as a spotter, you do have to change the fitting on the back, which is this thing. Tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put that rifle somewhere safe, because if I don't, it's going to fall over. So this just unscrews. It's a captive ring that you turn. Plenty of thread on this, so it's not quick. It's just about there. There's 3 pins on this one which allow you to locate it in the right configuration when you get to the back here. This one doesn't have any rings, it doesn't matter where this goes. So this just literally lines up and you spin it on. And once you've spun that on, you've got either a spotter or a standalone scope. Now for a standalone scope you do need the bracket, they don't include that. The PARD one is about 100 quid, give or take. I've got one from a different manufacturer, and I might do a separate video on those at a later date, so I won't talk about that too much. But it's Eagle Vision Cam. Now they make some wonderful third-party bits and pieces, not just for PARD but for just about everybody's clip-on scopes, so highly recommend them. Have a look. Now getting back to this, I raved about the focus ring on the front before. I do still like that. It's a really good idea that it just folds out of the way, because if you're using it as a spotter you probably won't necessarily need that. If it's on the front of your rifle you're probably going to use your scope, but it is there and it is very easy to access, and with it folded back out of the way you're not going to catch it anywhere or have any problems with that. The battery in this is the standard battery that's in all of the PARD night visions. The one that's actually in mine isn't a PARD, it's a 1860, I think. It's a 18650 in fact, and they come in various flavors and colors from different manufacturers. This one's a 1 leaf, which is actually a Samsung battery. Some of the other PARDs now take a larger battery, which is this one, a 21700. That's generally for the thermals. So if you buy the multi-spectral unit, we'll have one of these. That's because obviously the thermal draws a lot more juice, and it's to give you an equivalent or even superior runtime. So that's what that's all about. So I think that's pretty much it. Obviously there'll be some more video to come from this. I'll actually have this out and about and do some proper field work with it and get some video from that. But for now, that's really all you need to know about the PARD FD1 and what you get for your money. Now again, at the time of this video, I don't think these are approved for the UK at present. They are being tested and they will gain approval because they're an LED illuminator, not a VCL laser, so there won't be any issues with that. Maybe I'll do a video about VCL lasers sometime, but for now I'll leave it where it is. So thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.